Welcome, this is where nerds come to learn things. If it's your first time here, click on the subscribe button and on the bell icon to get notifications about new videos. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoy it. So this is another little review, but this is actually an item I've purchased. So I've actually paid for this myself, which says something, doesn't it, straight away. And it's a quick. You've probably seen these around on lots of various channels that use them, use hot air systems. Alright, it's a quick A61DW, and these have got quite a good reputation. So I basically, what is, I had a 10 mile hot air station, which I've had for several years, and that was doing me fine, but it wasn't wonderful. And it's okay, it did the job. Until I saw other people doing the same kind of work as me, using one of these units, and saw how much quicker it worked, how much faster it was for them to get the parts off the boards when they were using this as a hot air station versus what I was using to do the same work. And I thought, right, well obviously mine is just not up to the job of those particular circumstances. And because I haven't really been doing service mount stuff for a while, but, you know, I've only been doing it really properly for the past 2 or 3 years really, so I wasn't really much of a need for anything better, and I made do, as you do. So I got one of these, and we're going to have a look at it. These are rated for 120 litres of air max. I've already had a little bit of a play around with it. I was doing a live stream and I unboxed it on live stream. I had a quick look at it and a quick play and just gave it a quick go and see how it went. So I've already put a nozzle on here. This is one of the nozzles. It's got some more in this box here. It comes with 4. And it seems to be fine. It's a really nice stand. It's really solid, robust. It's very heavy. Right, that doesn't want to move anywhere. It's good. There's nice rubber feet on there, or like foam, kind of closed cell foam things. And it's got this remover tool in there for getting the nozzles off when they're hot. And that kind of locks in there. Actually, it's got like a little ribbon there, and that locks inside here. So when you put it in, it doesn't actually want to wobble everywhere and fall out. It sits there really nicely. I really like the way it's a nice vertical stand. I don't like the horizontal stands or ones that go up like this or whatever, because like on my 10 mile one, it sits on the side like that. So you can't put anything near it at the back there, because otherwise you're going to end up cooking it when you put the handpiece away. So the fact it goes into this nice hole and it blows the heat down onto the bottom of the base, it dissipates the heat, so you can actually have it around other things without risking destroying them. Here's the nozzles that come with it. Obviously I've already got one on there, so you've got this plain one here, which I'm not quite sure why you'd bother with that one personally, but maybe it's like a diffuser or something, I don't know. But you've got this smaller size, which I think is about 4 mil. That I think it's about 8, and the one on there I think is about 6 mil. I think it is anyway. So that's what comes with it. I imagine you can get different nozzles for it as well. I think you can get angled ones and all sorts of various options. I haven't actually looked into it yet. I probably will get myself like an angled one, so you don't have to hold the thing up. You can actually then, you know, have your hand in a more natural position. That's also an option. It also comes with this lead here, which you think, what the hell is that for originally? It's like, why do I need a ground clip lead? That's weird. Got a banana jack and a clip lead. It's like, well, what? But on the back of the unit here, it actually has a grounding terminal. It even has a fuse. Look, something the Wellers don't have. It has a fuse, so they're allowing for the eventuality that maybe you plug this into the wrong supply voltage, or maybe the transformer shorts out, or you get a big high voltage spike through your main supply, which you've got to have absolutely no control over whatsoever. These things can happen. Right, you could get a big voltage surge. And anyway, here's the fuse. The casing here looks a bit badly pressed, but it doesn't matter. It's just a slight gap at the back. What it is these corners here aren't pressed tight enough when they've made them. Not a big deal. But otherwise, the quality of it feels really nice. This is a nice, it's like a silicone sleeve on there as well. It's train release both ends. You know, it feels like a quality product. It doesn't feel like a cheap chintzy thing. Right? It does actually feel like a nice unit. Now, interestingly, if you look everywhere on the unit, nowhere does it say exactly what country made this unit. It's not marked on it. So it's a bit of a mystery. There's nothing on a unit, nothing on the handpiece, nothing on the base, nothing on the box, nothing on the manual. Nowhere does it say where it was made. Nothing on this box. It's like I've done a really good job of hiding where it came from. Well, everything's made in China these days, right? It's rare for things not to be made in China purely because of the cost aspect involved. Even high quality brands are made in China. You know, the quality you get depends on how well you control the operation and how much money you put into it, pretty much, right? And what quality you expect from the company that's making it. But nowhere does it say where it's made, but I believe it's made in China. I think they're kind of trying to hide the fact it's made in China because it's got a bad reputation. But you can get good quality stuff in China. You can. I think before I turn this on again, I've already had a little play with it once already. Just yesterday, just, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. We'll take the screws off and have a look because I'm curious to see what's inside it. Okay, let's get these screws out. Oh, lost one already. It's on the floor of doom. Okay, it's got the screws out. Let's see about getting the cover off. Seems to be quite well stuck onto the front panel here. Maybe the whole front panel comes off, I'm not quite sure. I think it's probably just wedged. Oh, what's going on? I think it's just wedged in there. There we go, it's coming out. Right, here we go. So what I think the story is there, yeah, these corners aren't formed quite right. These ones I think are actually formed in a little bit too close together, so they're tight on the front panel surround there. It's gripping on there a bit too hard. So I think that's probably what's wrong with the fitment. There's haven't got those bends in quite the right place. It's probably out by a millimetre or so. Not a big deal, just a little thing. Now, here's the inside. Let's get a bit closer. Zoom. No, okay, maybe not far. So what do we have? Well, for a start, we've got a fuse holder. Well done. It already beats Weller. And so we've got the main input coming in. It's all nicely shrouded. This is fiberglass tubing, so it's actually heat resistant. So it comes in straight to the fuse, out here, all the way up, straight to the front panel, switch, hard switch on there, try and get it in shot, okay, and then back to the back again. It goes into this filter unit, EMI filter. Very nice indeed. So it's rated at 10 amps, and the neutral goes to that filter too, which passes through it. The earth comes from the lead, is bolted to the chassis right there. Looks like it's got a shakeproof washer on there as well, and it's also got sealant on it. See in there. So that's looking really good. That looks like it's all nicely done. Double crimped with the second wire, which goes through to the filter assembly, which goes onto the body. So effectively it's got dual earths. It's got an earth going to the body of this, which is also riveted to the chassis, and the shakeproof washer bolt through there. Now it also has this resistor going to this tab. So the earth tab on the back there, which I've completely forgotten about, right there, that's what's on that post there. Okay, that banana jack, which has that resistor going to it. So it has a resistor going to the chassis. Now I'm guessing that's a 1 mega. Brown, black, green. I think it is. Brown is 1, black is 0, green is something 5, is it? Actually, let's measure this. I'll put it 1 mega. So 1 and 6 zeros would be 1 mega, wouldn't it? If I've got that correct. So let's probe between here and here. So we get 1 mega. You can't quite see, can you? There you go, 1 mega. So yep, that's fine. So it's obviously used as a earthing system. So if you really had like a maybe you need to use this as your main earthing point, you know. So this can be your power coming in, and you can tap off that to ground your anti-static mat or whatever. So it's not a direct earth connection, but it's through a 1 mega ohm resistor. So it's dissipative. Okay, so from the filter obviously comes through here to the front panel, comes up to this back here, the back of this panel there, and for this jumper block, which also splits off. So it's got these other cables split off, and it looks like they come back down to the transformer here. So there's 2 reds there as well, 2 red wires. I'm probably just zoomed in too far, but I go to the transformer. Alright, so it's 230 volt transformer in this case, because that's what the unit is. Output is 10 volts and 23 volts, so it's a dual winding. Don't really can see that in the lighting, because the lighting tends to reflect on things. Okay, so white is 10 volts and yellow is 23 volts, and they go back over here and they go into the main board down here. Obviously that's the main air pump there, you know, you expect that. It's rubber mounted. It's actually got rubber bushings and there's no bolts at all, it's just purely rubber mounted, so it helps to keep the noise down. Very nice. So you've got MOSFET control down here, obviously, for all the outputs. So the main umbilical cord comes down, just runs around the back of that. So obviously one goes straight into here, but the wires, good question, actually the wires coming here, I'm not talking rubbish. There's the wires coming here. Obviously that's for the heating element, which kind of loops around, goes into the board here. So obviously this is the main controller here. Alright, so what's that part? That is a LM317T right there. So it's obviously a basic voltage regulator. This adjustment on here for something. Got a couple of caps. What brand are they? Gemicon. Gemicon, I've heard of that. Who knows what the quality is like. I've seen them somewhere else. I can't think what it was in now. And interestingly, there's a unused connector just here, marked VR1. Intriguing. Definitely intriguing. Maybe there's a another alternative method of controlling the fan speed or something, I don't know. And there's also another JSTU here which isn't used. I can't see labelling on here. It says JI5, I think it says I5, maybe. Obviously a bunch of MOSFETs and control circuitry on there. There's a MC33035DW. Wonder what that is. Maybe it's a motor controller. Maybe. Yeah, let's get a close up in there. Hope it'll answer any questions you may have. So, to the front panel. So, you've got it's like potentially a programming header right there, because it's an Atmel microcontroller. Atmega 16A. Hope you can see that. And obviously it's where the main distribution and everything goes in there. Things like labelled saying what they do, obviously you've got jumper blocks there, but there's nothing actually saying this is like power in or power out or fan or whatever, you know, whatever you get, motor. You don't see anything like that. There's a buzzer just there. So if it's annoyingly loud, you could stick something over it. I don't know. It's up to you, I suppose. Opto isolator there, interestingly. And on the side here, so TA416008. But the first digit looks like an 8. It's just maybe badly printed, I'm not sure. It's nicely constructed. I mean, those are probably self-tapped into the back of the front panel. I don't think there's going to be metal inserts in these screws here. Because sort of thing, you know, it's assembled once and that's it. So you don't really need to worry about wear and tear on those parts. So it'd be unusual to have metal inserts in there. And also it's got the clamping on here for the umbilical cord there. It looks nice. It does kind of look a bit weird the way they've constructed this part though, where they've got the chassis like this and they've got this extension bolted onto the front of the chassis. You see this? It's like an extra bit. I don't know why they've done that. They could have actually just formed it. I don't know. They could have made it a little bit shorter. It's a strange thing they've done there. They could have got this chassis here and just formed that up and bolted onto the back of that with that formed up. I don't know, maybe there's no reason, I don't know, but I don't see why. It doesn't seem to need the space. Odd. But otherwise, I mean, it looks alright. I mean, all these screws they've all got sealant on them to stop them from rattling loose from the vibration from this, or what vibration there is. Even these have got, you know, sealant on them to stop them slipping, if they were to slip. There's another earth point here, which is soldered. And shake-proof washer and sealant. And yeah, this is screwed into the chassis, so it's threaded chassis. Even these other screws here on the front panel, those are, you know, There you go, see those are sealed too. So they've actually done a lot of attention to detail there, trying to make sure things don't rattle loose. The exception seems to be on the front panel, where none of the stuff on here has been sealed up. Like maybe they stick some on these, make sure those don't come loose, but it's unlikely to come loose anyway. You know, I made us worry about the chassis stuff, you know, even on the fuse holder nut. The fuse holder nut, see that, Willa? Fuse holder. It's not going to get old, is it? So yeah, internally I think it looks good. So this motor drive unit is version 1.5, dated 2015 07/31, so end of July 2015. So the design is 3 years old, 3.5 years old. So they've been around for a little while, and I haven't really seen much in the way of bad comments about them. In fact, I haven't seen any bad comments about them. So maybe the fact they've been around for a few years, and maybe I just haven't come across the bad comments, but they maybe seem to last okay. Interesting, on the back there it says A61DS, not DW. I don't know what the difference is. So this plug here is, you know, they've got that red stuff on to hold them in, but this bottom one here, which is sort of hanging downwards, you see it just there, that's actually upside down. There's nothing on that one. That could potentially drop out. Maybe, I don't know. Is it really a big deal? It's just those buttons there, so if those buttons stop working, goes to those. If those will stop working on you for some reason, everything else goes, then check that plug hasn't dropped out. If there's a programming header, makes you wonder if there's maybe something you could do to reprogram it. But then I'm not sure why you'd actually need to. Right, so let's put this thing back together and we'll put it through its paces. Well, I'll have a little play with it anyway. Right, we'll plug this in the power and turn it on. Now, one thing I should really mention is the plug. Now, this is not a particularly exciting feature, but a common thing you'll see on cheaper equipment would be that the plug isn't the correct type, as in legally, right, or maybe the best design, should I say. Now, this is actually exactly right. In New Zealand, these plugs are supposed to have a plastic shroud halfway down the length of the pin, so that when you, because of this crappy plug design, the plugs in this country are rubbish, right? The plug sockets, the bad design. Same plug is used as in Australia and in China, believe it or not. Yeah, anyway, it's a bad design, because the distances in here are so short, it's actually possible when you're unplugging it, if you're grabbing a hold of it and you actually fit your finger around the end like that and touch the pin whilst those pins are still touching the contacts inside the board or socket, whatever. It's possible to do it. I've done it. I've got my zap. Within, I don't know, a month of being in the country when I first came over here, I found out the whole way these plugs are a really bad design. So now the current standard has a plastic sleeve up the pin, so you cannot actually touch the live part of the pin accidentally whilst you're plugging the thing in or unplugging it. Alright, so if they had the design right in the first place, you wouldn't need the sleeves, but hey, the sleeves are still a great thing. Obviously only on those two pins, the phase and neutral, not on the earth pin. The earth pin should be solid all the way down, which is fine. You see a lot of equipment from China where it just has a solid pin, because in China that's the standard. They can have a solid pin in China. That's fine. It's the same plug they use over there. Anyway, so I thought I'd point it out. Now I'll plug it in. Now I'll waffle on about the plug for 2 minutes. So I'll tip this up on its end so you can see. Hopefully without the lights reflecting on it. Right, let's turn it on. See what we get. So it's a backlit display. It's blue. I'm not a fan of blue. I find it quite hard to actually see. You know, it's actually hard for you to differentiate shades of blue. I'm just not a fan of it. Anyway, it looks nice enough. So it's in sleep mode when you first turn it on. And you've got presets here, 1, 2 and 3. Preset 1 set to 200, that's set to 300, that's 400, that's the defaults that it comes with 120 litres of air. So it actually tells you the litrage. So you've actually got a reference which is quite nice. They're just going 100%. Well, 100% of what? You just don't know. Alright, if you don't initially actually remember what the specs are, you just don't remember. So it's actually nice, it does say what the litrage is. So you've got individual controls for temperature and air, obviously, as you can see. I just noticed a little problem. My one has a problem with the switch, look. See the switch? That's half broken. The pin on that side is broken out. Only one side's retained. Oh, that's not very good, is it? The other was saying about how the quality is good. it's got a bad switch. I've got heaps of these switches. I can replace that easily enough myself. It's not a problem, but I've got loads of those. But I've actually got a bag full of the things. So I picked up bulk. I think I got like 200 of them or something. But yeah, if you bought one of these and you had a broken switch before you even started, you wouldn't be very happy with that, would you? In that case, you'll take it back. So watch out for that, because what it is, they've got a pin on each side of the actual rocker part, and they lock into holes. So either the hole's missing from the body, or the pin's broken off on that side. Anyway, not a great start. I'll just replace it. I'm not going to worry about sending it back or anything. It's just a waste of time. I've got heaps of these switches. So it's adjust temperatures. So if you want to do temperatures, you can do that. So it goes up to 500. The longer you hold it down, the further it goes. Right. Okay, so it's obviously temperature, and this is air, same deal, I expect. Yep. So you just press it if you just want to tap it up, or you can just hold it down. It tells you when it's in the end. Obviously, right now it's asleep because the handpiece is in the cradle. I think you can actually do like a preset adjustment. So if I seem to have to press these a bit harder, maybe. Yeah, so even though it's clicked, it's not actually registered. I had to push it a bit hard. Maybe it'll wear in a little bit. I have to push it a bit harder. Even though you hear it click, but it's not actually, you're not hearing a beep. It's not registered. So you have to push it a little bit harder to make contact. That's okay. It's not. I haven't had to dig into it really hard. It's just I like to treat things gently, so I was pushing things at the minimum effort as possible. And I'm lazy. Let's see if I can get a different setting here. So let's make the air a bit lower. Let's do 100 litres instead of 120, right? And just set that on this one. See if it works. Looks like it has. I was taking a guess here. I've never done this before. And sure enough, it's saved 100 litres of air on that setting. So that's how you do it. You hold the button until it beeps. Does that long beep, and then you've resaved your setup on that particular channel. So does that retain across power cycles? Well, I expect it does. Let's find out. Let's give it a few seconds. Channel 1, sure enough, it's retained it. So, yep, that's fine. So that's nice, easy to set. You don't have to think about it. I mean, there is a manual. I'll get it in a second. I'll actually put it away. But I haven't actually read it, to be honest. I've glanced through it. So you don't really need a manual to use it. It just works, all right? I'll get the manual out now, actually, while I'm thinking about it. Fairly generic. Packing list tells you what's supposed to come with it. Safety instructions as always. I mean, this is obviously a Chinese kind font, you know, it's the sort of font they use. So it doesn't say anywhere where it's made. It's not even on packing list. No, it's not on there. Nowhere does it say China. It's amazing. So various stats, and it tells you how to use it. And there is calibration setting as well. You can actually calibrate it somehow. There's password operation and stuff like that. It's all in there. Right. Suppose I should actually flick through and let you read it, shouldn't I, like this? I'll hold it on screen for a second so you can see it. Right. I'll pause it there, see if you want to pause the video and read it, you can. So it's, you know, a pretty basic manual, but it does cover what you need to know, I think. And that tells you how it works. And so it does have a calibration mentioned here, tells you how to do it. I haven't read it yet, but you can do it. And that's that stuff there too. So there you go, there's the manual. So if you want to look at that, you can. So I haven't read it. I don't tend to read manuals unless I think I need to, and I have to figure something out. I've only glanced through it. Let's look at the front panel here. Stand up so you can see it, and lift it off. So you can see straight away it's woken up and it's winding up. Now it's going to be a bit noisier because I've got the thing on its end. Normally it's actually a bit quieter, and you know that gets the temperature pretty quickly, as you would expect from a hot air station. You actually maybe can see on display this little thing flicking up and down. you know, it's actually trying to control it properly, up and down, not just turning it on all the time. It also allows it to cool down. So let's change ranges. There we go. And it's already there. Alright. I'm going to go to the top one. The top setting, set the top preset. You see it gets it pretty quickly. About around 200. And you see it, what it actually does as well, when it goes to sleep, in order to cool down quickly, it actually will actually ramp the air up to maximum to cool down quickly. Right, so when you're just changing regions like that, it just ramps it down slowly, just lets it cool down naturally. If I put it in a holder, you see the air is ramping up to help it to cool down quickly, which I think is a nice feature, you know, because that way it's not sitting there too hot for too long. Probably helps to preserve the heating elements, stuff like that. I'm guessing I'm not exactly an expert on this sort of thing. I think it sells at 100 degrees when it's asleep, I'm not sure. I might shut right off, and I can't remember what it does. Yeah, it shuts right off. So that's actually not bad. I mean, this ramps down pretty quickly. Like, compared to my 10 mile one, that would take a while to actually cool down before it shut off and went quiet. So this is a lot better. So I'm actually going to just put this down again. Put it on the highest one. And I put it down like this to try and minimise some of the noise a little bit to the microphone, which is right here. Just wake it up. There you go. That's up to temperature. So that's all very nice. And the air is what makes most of the noise. The actual air rushing out and move it away. This is actually fairly quiet. It's much quieter than my 10 mile one. Very effective. As far as air around here goes, I'm not really feeling anything at all. It's just kind of in this area, barely warm. So that actually works really well with that base. The base itself is warming up. Just there particularly is getting pretty hot. But as far as air around it blowing around, it's not a problem. It's barely warm at all. And I'll shut down in a second, so it'll be done. So that's the advantage as well as having a heavy base, is that you can put the heat into the base. There you go, shut down. So yeah, I mean this is, I think it's cast aluminium or something like that. It's definitely some kind of cast, maybe zinc, I don't know, but the it's a nice heavy base. I really like it. The switch I'm not happy with, obviously, because that shouldn't be like that when you get a brand new unit. Maybe they got unlucky, got a bad batch of switches. Maybe I got unlucky because I'm like that, and maybe I just happened to get one which needed fixing because, you know, why not? Let's see if I can get the switch out without replacing the whole, well, I'm going to take the whole panel off again. Because I do just have like little fingers on the side that hold them in, so I've already unplugged power. Let's get a spudger. See if I can pop it out. Down to dismantle the whole panel. It's starting to come out. Again, shouldn't have to do this because it's brand new, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to fix it and move on. Okay, so there you go. So I've just got to get one of these with one of the switches and replace it. Not a problem, I'm going to do that now. Who would have thought I'd be doing a repair video at the same time? Okay, so here's my box of switches and stuff here. So let's put this down here. There's a bag of them. So these are the ones I've got. A whole bunch of them. They're not exactly the same, but they're very, very similar. Ratings, should check that. 250 volt, 10 amp, or 8 amp. Okay, I'm not quite sure whether it's actually got two ratings on there. It's a bit weird. Maybe you can see that on there if you get lighting on it right. I don't know, maybe. So it should be adequate for this, as long as the actual terminals are big enough to fit on here. Should be fine. So let's unplug it. Try and unplug it. At least they hold on very well. They're not going to fall off in a hurry. If I let go, it might drop inside the chassis. You have to be careful of that. So I will have to pull it apart. Okay. Let's put these on. Should be solidly on there. Yeah, they feel good. Put it back in. Shouldn't have to do that, but looks similar, doesn't it? It's all good. There we go. Just like new. Well, actually better than new in this case. This is why it's nice to have parts. Let's test it out. Plug it in. Yep. It works. Sweet as. Yeah, shouldn't have to do a repair video, but let's pull this apart and have a look. Yeah, it's like the actual pin's missing. See that there? See with the pins in the hole? Let's pop this out. Not what I expect to be doing, but anyway. Maybe you've never seen one of these things apart before. So, let's pull this off. So there's the plunger, and inside there is the contact. So it just rubs, so it hinges on that middle contact and just touches the other one. This just presses against it. There's no sliding contact, it just touches and sort of just does that with it. No sliding contact, which is actually a shame because sliding contact is actually slightly better, but that's just the way it's designed. So it just rocks on that centre point there. And there's the contact on the end. Alright, and sprung plunger, just there, which is what actually rubs on the middle part there, runs on that to activate it. And as you can see, there's no pin on this side. Pin is gone. On this side, see, this got a little bit sticks out like that. That's typically what they have, is like a half pin, so you can get it in easy, so you can push it in, but it doesn't come back out. Alright, so that's typically what they have, but this side is broken off. Come on, focus. Yeah, that spring must be a little bit too strong for that pin. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it happens. They break, which is why I've got a whole stock of them, because you know you need them from time to time. But again, you shouldn't get one which is broken on a brand new piece of gear. But as you saw, not hard to replace. As long as you've got a spudger, you don't have to open up the casing, so it's fine, really. So my opinion of this unit is basically, it's a nice unit. Obviously you had to hiccup the switch. I think that's more bad luck than anything else. You know, it's just, it's what it is. You know, switches fail, they do. This is why I've got a whole load of them. I like the controls, I like the user interface. It's really easy to use, easy to learn, I think. This is obviously going to be my main unit from now on. My other hot air station's been moved out into my other lab, which is like I'm trying to put together and build, which I kind of need to finish. This will be on my bench here, and obviously being much quieter is also great for doing videos because it doesn't drown out the sound so much. And there's another benefit there. Actually, I should mention this too, it's got rubber feet on here too. Actually very soft rubber, which is nice. I'm actually going to put this on top of a piece of cloth too, because my shelf where this is going to probably sit, my microphone's mounted on that, so I actually have to try and reduce as much vibration through that shelf as I can as it comes to the microphone when I'm recording. Just a little detail, but it's got nice rubber feet, they're really soft, so I think it's not really an issue anyway. I really like it. I've tried it out once already yesterday, gave it a go, and it worked much better than my other unit did. It took a part off in a fraction of the time, so I'm way happy about it. As long as that switch is the only problem I have with it, I'll be perfectly happy. Well, time will tell, you know. This is going to get a fair bit of use over the next couple of months, so we'll, you know, I'll know for sure if it's okay or not, but I'm pretty confident. So if you're in your market for hot air station and you're not quite sure what you're going to buy yet, whether you're going to buy a Heiko or a Weller or something like that, these are cheaper, perform just as well. That's my understanding of it, at least. They're certainly cheaper. What I've seen online from other people, their videos, stuff like that, it performs just as well as the other units, if not better in some cases. So get one of these. And it's got a fuse in the back. See you later.